Ryan Rishaug has been covering the Four Nations face-off for us here on SportsCenter and doing a terrific job. Ryan, does hearing that Crosby and MacKinnon were the first ones on the ice for practice Thursday surprise you in any way?
No, it really doesn't. But you still kind of marvel at it when you see, Jay, because I covered the game the night before, and they stepped off the podium after their postgame. It was like 12:15 or some ridiculous time. And then the thing is it snowed, right? You guys got it there too. We just got walloped with snow. So it was the next morning, it was an optional skate 30 minutes away. They had to get on a bus and go half hour through just torrential downpour of snow. And it didn't faze them. So they were the only two guys that had played the night before that got on that bus, went out to Broussard, and they went out there for 25 minutes to do this kind of stuff. It's so funny, Jay. Like, look at these little things they're doing. These are very specific. Like, Sid wanted to work on his backhand saucer passes, I guess, and then wanted to work on picking off passes off the end boards, like such specific things. And then they would talk and they'd go, should we do? Yeah, we'll do. And then they'd go do some other innocuous thing. Like, they're so dialed, they're so passionate, they're just hockey junkies. And pretty cool to see the morning after. Sid's been on the ice every day. We didn't know if he was going to play. He took the optional the game day, takes the optional the day after. The guy loves playing the game.
He sure does. It's amazing. Now, the bad news is no Shea Theodore for the tournament. He's out for the tournament after an injury in Wednesday's game. Travis Sanheim will draw in now, obviously, but that leaves them with 6 defensemen for the tournament, Ryan. Now, we know that Young Stars defenseman Thomas Harley is on his way to join the team. Can you explain exactly how that's going to look?
Yeah, and Chris Johnson did some great reporting on this today. Basically, there are rules in place so that you can't just have a pile of players on this roster and guys that aren't playing. So essentially, they're putting Thomas Harley in place, but he has to go to Boston. So what they can't do is bring in a player, have him around the team, taking practice, being in all the meetings. That's prohibited by the rules. They can put a player on notice, and they can get him to Boston where Canada plays its 3rd game. This is not ideal. Hockey Canada, I think, pushed back a little bit, wanting to potentially bring Harley here to Montreal. Just so, I mean, if a player gets sick in the next couple of days, what do you do, right? But again, that was against some of the rules, I guess, that are in place. And so Harley ends up in Boston. He's ready, but at arm's length from the team. And it's only if another defenseman gets injured and can't play. This isn't about subbing him in at some point for someone else. So this is a one-off event, right? The rules are a little fly by the seat of the pants, but this is what they felt was the right thing to do here, and it's the situation that Canada's faced with.
Okay, you are obviously in the Bell Center, and you saw the USA beat Finland on Thursday night. The crowd booed the U.S. national anthem. What did you make of it? What did the players have to say?
Yeah, and I'll adjust your phrasing a little bit, Jay, because I think that's what's fair to everybody here. Some of the crowd booed the anthem. There's no question it happened. It was reasonably loud. You could hear it throughout the anthem. So it definitely happened, no question. But the other thing I will say is that when that anthem finished, there was a loud cheer for the anthem. And it was almost as though those who chose not to boo went out of their way to give it a very loud cheer. And the cheer that it got at the end was louder than the boos that happened during. So it was not unanimous. It was not the entire building, and there was respect shown at the end. But no question, it happened. I'm not denying that. Team USA, the players that I talked to kind of played it off. Like JT Miller sort of said, like, we were fine with it. We liked it. You know, it's motivation. It's not about being political. It's us against them. And he sort of played it in that direction. Zach Werenski, basically said, I'm not going to view it as a political thing. They don't like us. We're the U.S. They want Canada to beat us. They don't want us to win. So I'm going to choose to look at it that way. So some politically correct answers. It happened, but it wasn't unanimous, and it wasn't everybody.
Okay, finally, most important question I'll ask you on the show today. James Duthie, Jeff O'Neill, Darren Dreger, Mike Johnson, all en route to meet up with you in Montreal. How excited are you?
Yeah, really excited. I can basically just put my suits away. James is in town. That basically leaves next to nothing for me to do. When Mr. Duthie arrives, my role shifts significantly. I make sure that his room is set up properly. I make sure he's got fresh bottles of water. The show's coming to town, and I have served my purpose. I will be cast aside, and I welcome that. I know my place, Jay. I know my place.
And that's why you're one of the best, Ryan Rishaug.